see it. And then you have this right to remain silent. And the reason why I want you to use that right to remain silent is because you may say things that, with the DA listening in and taking notes, you may say things that put yourself in the spot. It may be other crimes, maybe this crime that you're accused of, it could be anything. I just don't want you to do that. I'm trying to protect your rights. So I advise you to stay silent about the facts of this case. If there is information that you have that would help in your final trial, that's something you have to tell your attorney, that this is not the time for that. You will eventually have a trial if that is needed. The parents that are here also like to take this time to explain to you that this is not the trial. Okay? There is all kinds of information I'm certain that I will not have today that is very important and relevant to your child. That is something to convey to your child's attorney. There will be future court settings on these cases. Potentially, some may defer prosecution, but potentially a future court setting where the information that you have may be very important. But for today's hearing, it is simply based on what the police officer provided when they brought the child to our custody. All right, so let's go ahead and start, I think. We're gonna have Cameron up front.
I think Dana, that's supposed to go.
I think it was Wayne's case, and Wayne was not available earlier.
So it just got moved? Okay.
I'll take you.
Sure, I'll give this back to you.
What's that? They nothing, I don't know, is this case gonna go later today?
I don't think so. Wayne's downtown again.
Oh,
He's got 7 or 8 cases downtown.
Yeah, so we need to get one.
Oh, okay, all right, so Cameron, if you go there, Mr. Adler's the number for your attorney who's not here. I do.
We do have a pair.
Okay, all right, so, all right, Cameron, you're almost 17, you are level 1 standing for 3 days. Dana, why did you drop down?
Well, he's had some problems back there, Your Honor. There was some threatening staff, and I don't have the specifics on that. There was at least one physical altercation back there with another resident.
Is that what the bandage is for?
I don't know, Your Honor, I didn't ask him.
Okay. All right. And the altercation was with another resident?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
There was some instigating of other boys fighting back there. And he was a part of-
Sir, please remove your hat.
Yes.
Thank you.
My understanding is that he was a part of instigating other boys fighting back there. He's done better since then.
All right. Cameron, back in April 4th, PD brought you in. Let's see, you've already been committed to Texas Juvenile Justice Department for stealing a car, unauthorized use of motor vehicle. That was in 2019. All right, so they're saying on April 14th, Forward Gang was searching for a car using a drive-by, and these real-time crime center cameras to show the vehicle drive up. Passenger fired through an open window. Police found the vehicle nearby, tried to do a traffic stop. Car kept on going. Once came to stop, back resting passenger exit, ran, police chased, yelling, "Stop, police!" After running, he started running, laid down and surrendered. And when taken into custody, they found a small black Smith & Wesson pistol. 3 other people remained in the vehicle, including you, who was a front right passenger. Also found a vehicle inside the hamper, in the trunk, another Smith & Wesson handgun. So you were brought here. Back in February, you were in a car pulled over by Forward PD when they were on patrol, pulled over for a faulty headlight. Asked about any weapons, you kind of gave indication to make them think there was something in the car. When they got out, a Smith & Wesson .40 caliber handgun was in the front passenger seat where you were seated. So you're here on felony deadly conduct by discharge of firearm, engaging organized crime. So Dana, how far does behavior level drop? If it's altercations, do you drop down to 3?
He did all the way down to 3, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, Cameron, you can't cause problems here and then just get your behavior level up to 1 outstanding just in time for court and for me to release you. You understand what I do when you're 17, right? I need to decide whether to keep you here or release you. And that's not just based on that day, but I'm also looking at your pattern behavior. And so you also have a trial coming up where I have to decide whether you need probation or get sent back to TJJD. this is the time, Cameron, that you start doing everything right, because you've got to impress me, okay? Because I'm the guy making the decision. If you're not gonna impress me, then, you know, it's just, you're not gonna like the results. Fair enough? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and detain you, because obviously you're a danger to yourself and to others if I was to release you back in the community. Thank you. All right, we have Ascari. All right, Ascari. Let's see. Wow. So you're 15. Your interaction with us started when you were 10 years old with an assault case, and then later on a burglary of a vehicle, which both of those were supervisory caution. And later on, when you're 13, no, just turned 14, you got probation for indecent assault. And then you're still 14, theft of property from 30,000 to 150,000. And a month later, tampering with evidence, which you got probation for, and evading arrest with motor vehicle. And then 5 months later, you're arrested for evading arrest. And then December, so at this point you're 15, you pick up an unlawful carrying weapon. All right, so I gotta ask, he was on probation for felony tampering with evidence. And that happened when he was evading arrest in a vehicle, picked up a case for unlawfully carrying a gun, and we just extended his probation out. Can you tell me which judge did that? Barry? Judge Porter? Okay. All right, so he is currently still on felony probation, in probation for a gun charge. And now yesterday, Fort Worth PD brought you in. They're saying that about 1:30 in the morning, police were dispatched to a disturbance call. When they got there, they met with the victim, said he was assaulted by his friend, Ascari. When they talked to him about the incident, he said it started about 1, he just got off of work and went home. How old is this victim? 19. And then Ascari had been sending him messages, harassing him, and he said that Ascari was telling him to come outside his apartment, that David had stolen $100 from Ascari's mom. And David said he never went to his mom's room anytime when he was over there. So when he went outside to speak to him, there were 2 other black males, one Christian and one Malik. So Ascari and Malik started to strike him and had to retreat back and followed him to his apartment, at which point they continued to hit him while on the kitchen floor. And Christian stood in the doorway and watched. So then David fled the apartment, went to the gas station, called the police, and the doorbell camera captured the assault. And so showed them going into the apartment. I showed Christian watching the assault. So you're arrested for burglary of habitation. Your probation, well, let's see, sir. Mr. Mitchell been supervising you since September. You've had curfew violations, suspended from homeschool. How do you get suspended from homeschool?
That's regular school.
Oh, okay. Refused to participate in FPP, unsuccessful discharge from the outpatient drug program. You've done 36 of your 64 community service hours, completed TCAP mentoring, and they're looking at substance abuse assessment for possible residential treatment. And you were positive for marijuana while on probation. What have you done right on probation?
Complete TCAP program, was working with.
But when you say complete TCAP program is a success, like they come to his house, right?
Mhm.
So there's, I mean, what?
I mean, they come to the house, they do programs with them, they do counseling, things of that nature, but I mean, that's the successful program that he has.
Okay. Anything else? Half of his community service?
Yes.
Did we case while he's been on probation, or was this the first, like, coming here?
They did one for him to have the unsuccessful discharge.
Okay. Well, Ms. McGonigal, how quickly do you think you'd be ready for a hearing on the motion modified?
Pretty fast, I guess, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of want to accelerate this one. It's just, it seems like he's had felony probation. He's picked up multiple new offenses. He's not doing anything wrong on probation. I think, I'm not sure what new evidence is needed for this one. It just really should decide whether he's successful completing his probation or not. So, Mary, if we can set this one a little bit quicker, you know, we'll give you at least 10 days as the statute implies, not requires in juvenile, but I want to follow the spirit of the law. So we'll give you at least 10 days, but I'll set this one. Mary, at this point, this is up to you to give your attorney as much as you can to argue for you and why you don't need to go to TJJD. Okay? Thank you very much. Do you have a parent here for a story?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Did we make contact with the parent?
Yes, she wasn't able to come about the situation yesterday. She had missed work, so she said she couldn't miss work today.
Okay. All right, Malik. This is Brian Willits. All right, Malik, 14 years old. You're Scarlett's brother. You're on probation for unauthorized use of motor vehicle. You also tested positive for marijuana. And during that time, you finished all your community service, TCAP program, and so yeah, let's go ahead and set this one quicker too. So we let Mr. Willett know. I mean, he's on felony probation. So I guess let me ask you this, Mr. Mitchell. Were we giving him drug tests while he's under supervision?
No, we had.
Okay, so here's my question. He's been on probation for 3 months now. We haven't given him a drug test yet?
Because I was doing person. I ain't done face-to-face. I was going to do one when we started in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so we're still not doing face-to-face supervision yet? Because that's what happens when you don't have face-to-face supervision. Not saying it's your fault, I'm just, it's interesting. All right, no parent here.
No, this mother said they have two.
Oh, 2 different mothers? Mom? Where's mom? Oh, your mom? Okay. Please stand up. All right, so what was Malik doing out at 1:30 in the morning?
He's been gone since Saturday
Oh, okay. Any idea where he's been?
with a Scarlet. He picked him up, turned the corner, Scarlet was smoking a cigarette as they turned the corner to go to his baby shower, never came back.
Whose baby shower?
His,
Oh, he's got a kid now?
not yet.
On the way.
Mhm.
Okay. At 15 years old. You ready to be a grandma?
No,
Okay. You're too young to be a grandma. All right. Well, decisions have consequences, so Mom, I hope you understand that he's on felony probation, he's smoking weed, he gets picked up on camera breaking into a house to commit an assault. And, you know, this is not, I'm going to decide this one fairly quickly as well. It's pretty clear cut to me. Well, it's not that it's clear cut to me. What it is the information is there now that I need to make a decision. But dragging this one out doesn't help Malik at all. Okay, either he needs to get back on probation at home under supervision, at home where he's supposed to be, or he needs to go to TJJD, and we'll figure out at the hearing. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mom. Evan. All right, Evan, you went before Judge Porter and were adjudicated delinquent on 5 6 serious offenses. Judge Porter ordered a placement search and a psychological evaluation. And that was in March. In May, we're at disposition, Judge Porter placed on probation, and also placement at Woodward Academy. And so I think we're still waiting for placement, a bed to open. And we are level 3 confined for, Mr. Dodson, what, fighting?
Last night, near peer conflict over a card game. They said they didn't get to throwing blows, but they were verbal abuse to each other. So they played both kids in the
Okay. Anything else went on, or it's just the confinement is what created the level 3?
Just to define level 3. Actually, he was on level 1 that morning. Since his disposition that morning, of the disposition, he was level 3. He's been actually doing pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Adler?
Well, Judge, I think there's been just a little bit of confusion through nobody's fault. And I saw Mr. Shahan walk in somewhere, and maybe he can answer some of our questions regarding the ICPC that we're waiting for replacement.
Okay. Well, I mean, we have to take care of the new trial first, because if there's a motion for new trial and an appeal, it seems like there's a question whether the record's complete or not.
Well, Judge, when you walked in, I started thinking about what you told me. Once again, we find ourselves with a case of first impression. So my motion for a new trial is based on the adjudication, right? But I still think that dispo and everything that was ordered during the disposition still has to take place. Unless you think the court has the authority to revoke that, and then we have a new disposition here. I don't know. I hadn't looked it up.
So we're within 30 days, so the court has plenary power to vacate its own judgment within the first 30 days.
I don't think we're within the first 30 days.
I'll tell you just a second.
Okay. I'm seeing May 25th is the notes I have here. I don't have the jacket.
Almost there.
May 25th, we have this one.
This about that 25th.
I guess we are within the 30 days, so we're gonna have a new.
If that's correct, we're waiting on confirmation, Mr. Ansley.
May 26th.
May 25th, all right, so within 30 days, so the court has plenty of power to reverse or vacate its own decision.
And do I get full blown hearing on that, or can Judge Porter just do that and then we start over?
So the adjudication was in March. And we bifurcated the hearing, correct?
Yes, sir.
So it would only be dispo to make the decision on what the adjudication. I don't think the court can vacate because they're separate distinct hearings.
Right.
And so I don't think the court has the plenary power to vacate the adjudication anymore. I think that ship sailed. Now it's purely dispo. Now, if there is a fundamental problem with the adjudication hearing, like the record, I'm not sure which part is in dispute for the motion for the trial.
The adjudication. So
Okay.
it's not the dispo.
Okay. So just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and vacate, since Judge Porter signs on my behalf as an associate judge,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go ahead and vacate the disposition at this point. So we're going back to post adjudication, pre-disposition. All right. And then if we need to do a new adjudication, we'll do a new adjudication. If we don't, then we'll just go straight to disposition. Does that make sense? So if there's a problem with the adjudication portion because the record's incomplete because of the technical failure, then you'll get your new trial. If that record's complete, was it just open to the court for dispo?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so I have full discretion within the full punishment range on the disposition.
So then if I'm going to be asking for a jury trial, how quickly can we get that on the docket?
You could get the jury trial if you could reverse the adjudication. Right? If it was up to me, I would grant you the whole new everything, but the power of the court expires at 30 days.
But my motion was filed within the 30 days.
Yes. Oh, was it on the adjudication?
Yes, sir. From the order, from the judgment, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's, who was the prosecutor in this case? Was it Ms. Richmond? Okay. Yeah, let me talk to Judge Porter, because because he was there and I wasn't. But at this point, I'm inclined to grant the new trial on the adjudication portion. And then we can, as far as when we get on the trial docket, we'll have to see. I mean,
He's been sitting, I know, Judge, his behavior's in detention, and I get all that. He's been sitting here a long time.
Right.
In detention, way too long.
the problem with Mr. Garcia is he's been in and out of here over and over. He's all kinds of problems in the community. Like he's a problem kid is the issue. I think we're just at the point we need something drastic. I'm okay. I found out about the placement for him, and I was okay with that, except for the fact that now I hear he's causing problems at our detention facility. It seems to me that he doesn't really have the heart or the spirit to really turn the corner and do the right thing. Like he's still stuck in his old ways.
But Judge, he's had pockets, and Mr. Dodson can testify to this, of level 1, where he kind of knows the outcome of where he's going, and when things aren't up in the air. But now that things aren't up in the air, every time he starts to act out, because he has been here for such a long time. So I bet if you look at his detention record, there are times where he's been level 1 for, I don't want to say extended periods of time, but I think he was level 1 when we went to our disposition hearing, or right before it.
I have his record here too, if you'd like, Judge.
His detention records.
Correct.
Like I'm sure he was level 1 when he went to Judge Porter for disposition, because I can't imagine Judge Porter would have given him probation if he was level 3.
He was level 3C.
At the time of disposition.
As of midnight, 5:25, he was level 3C. The 28th, he made level 3 outstanding, and then increased up to level 1 outstanding on June 2nd, and then maintained that, dropped to 1A for overplayful, then went back to 1O, and then that was on 6/8, and then this morning dropped to the 3C due to what you have already heard.
And Judge, I'm going off my memory. Can you please talk about prior to disposition and not after disposition?
Sure. Prior to disposition, on May, this is just working backwards, May 22nd, he was 1 outstanding. 21st, 1 acceptable. From May 5th to May 21st, he was 1 outstanding. So do you need to keep going, or? Just additional information for the day of court. It looks like he dropped due to having a altercation with another resident, which is what dropped him to level 3C for the day of court.
Yeah. Mr. Adler, a lot of Heaven's problems are just, they're just violence against other people. I mean, look at his history with the assaults, look at the current charges. They're just a wake of victims in Heaven's past. And even here in detention is constant pure conflict. It's like we're keeping him here to keep him from creating more violent victims, but yet he's on the verge of creating more victims of violence while he's in detention. Like I'm not, like where does a person like that fit in our society, right?
Judge, maybe, just maybe, we can give him house arrest with his mom, strict house arrest, while we sort all this out, see if we can have a jury trial.
Yeah.
If he gets back to level 1 for an extended amount of time, maybe.
No, and a large part of this is because I know Heaven wasn't necessarily charged with other offenses, but there's a lot of other juvenile delinquency cases where Heaven was there. Like he surrounds himself with people that are constantly breaking the law. I think it's just, I don't want him as my neighbor. You don't want him as your neighbor. I mean, he causes problems when he's our community. All right, so I'm gonna go and continue to detain him. Evan, your hand is raised. If you want to ask a question, I think that's okay. But if you want to tell me something, your attorney does not want you to tell me anything. All right. Do you have a question for me? No, okay. Mr. Allen, let's go ahead and have that brain trust and figure out what we can do with this case. I think a lot of it depends on whether the record, do we have a parent here for having?
No, yeah.
Okay. So a lot of it depends on whether the digital recording worked or not, so.
I think everybody agrees it did not except Mr. Richards. So maybe we just need to have that hearing and set it as quick as possible.
Yeah, well, the opinion that matters is Judge Porter.
I agree.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Elder.
Thanks, Judge.
Alan? All right, so Alan, this is a 10-day hearing. You're 14 years old. You've never had a case before. Back in March, you were brought in by Bedford for theft and assault. Oh, so in March, you were brought in by Bedford for assault. You had a theft case from September, which you never appeared for court. And so police got on scene for domestic. Stepmom said when she was getting home, you were watching, went down, hit her on the way down, and caused a golf ball sized welt. Also, police showed up, let's see, the theft case, 14-year-old victim said you wanted to fight him. Then you approached and slapped him in the face. He took off his backpack and ran, and he saw you put on your backpack, which was the school computer. And you admitted slapping the victim and taking the backpack. And so you didn't show up for court. We have court set for you June 11th on Friday. Ms. Dillon, what do you expect? Is it worked out a deal for Friday?
We have worked out a deal to an agreed plea as to the assault, waive the theft case, and both sides are agreeing to probation. The only issue to be decided with Judge Porter is mental health treatment, whether it will be actual placement facility or whether he will be placed in the REACH program and allowed to be in Mom's home. Mom has agreed that she will work intensively with, family-based services.
Right. Do we have Mom here?
I didn't see her. She will be here Friday.
Okay. All right, so it sounds like you have a grasp of his needs
Yes.
and how to address those things. Good. All right, Alan, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna detain you because it's 2 more days of court. All right, and this is really, it's because you ran in September like you didn't show up for court. Had you been showing up to court, then I'd let you go home, but they're misdemeanor cases. But when you didn't show up in September, I just don't wanna have to wait another 6 months in case you don't show up in 2 days. Does that make sense? Yes, sir.
I don't think my mom knew about the court.
Okay. It's possible, and so I'm not blaming her. That is not a factor for me. It's, you didn't show up for court, and we had took 6 months to find you. I don't want for court to be 2 days away, let you go, and then have to wait 6 months to find you again, okay? So, but looks like this all can be figured out on Friday. All right, thank you, Alan. Thank you. Destiny. Catherine Craven's case. All right, so brought in back in November for something that occurred in August. Group of teenagers, oh, that's right, the victim was walking behind him. Group started yelling at the victim. 77-year-old lady with a medical condition was unable to communicate, so Destiny admitted to pushing her in the street, and then when she was not getting up, Destiny ran. Transferred to the hospital with a brain bleed. She was hospitalized all through August. She's still having trouble speaking and started speech therapy. And she's actually weaker now than when released from the hospital. Destiny, I'm just gonna let you know that if this person dies from these injuries, you're looking at a murder charge, okay? So just. So we had court May 25th, after adjudication, it was passed. You've been living with Aunt, sneaking out, staying at a friend's house. You got a job at Cece's. Did Cece's not have to get proof of employment?
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
Your Honor, you would think so.
Destiny, did Cece's not ask for your social security card and fill out all driver's license and all that? They just hired you? Okay. So they just ready to detain you until we can figure out a better living arrangement. Mom wants to take her home. We have mom here? Are you mom?
Yes.
Okay. So why was she living with Aunt?
Definitely with my sister that, they raised her. Not adopt her, but
Right,
we all have outraised Destiny.
sure. So why wasn't she living with you?
I live with my fiance at his house, and she have her own bedroom over at my sister. She agrees to stay there. But I do go there almost every
Okay,
day.
that didn't answer my question. Why doesn't she live with you?
Why does she live with me?
Mhm.
My sister loves her so much, like she grew up with her. She don't have no kids, but her husband passed away, and it's just her and Destiny.
So you just said it's better for Destiny to live with Aunt than with you?
I do go there and visit her almost every day. I call and check on her and all that. I'm ready to take her home with me.
I just can't figure out why she wasn't living with you in the first place.
Like I said, my sister raised up Destiny.
Right, why?
She don't have kids. She can't have kids. So Destiny is like her child.
Was CPS ever involved with Destiny?
What?
Was CPS ever involved with Destiny?
Never.
So you just voluntarily let Destiny stay with her aunt?
Yeah, it's been like that, but I have custody of my daughter. It's like I used to live there. We used to live together, but I have a fiance, and then now I move out with him.
When did you move out with your fiance?
Like earlier last year.
Like when, what month?
I'll say February.
So why didn't your daughter come with you?
She do come sometimes. Like she comes sometimes and stays with us. She goes over there whenever she wants to. But school, doctors and stuff like that, I'm with her all the time doing that.
So when this alleged assault happened on this elderly person, was she living with you or with Aunt?
She was my sister, her auntie.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand this, Mom, because I really want to trust the parents to make the best decisions for the kids. So after she got arrested for this injury to an elderly, why didn't you let her go back to her aunt's house?
It's like, not like she's sick. Because I was staying with him, I do go over there.
That's not what I asked. Like, after she got arrested for a felony, why, obviously it wasn't working with an aunt. So why did you let her go back to the aunt?
Because she's my sister and I trusted her. It was both of us. Didn't know, like I said, Destiny's life was not like that. We never know Destiny could get out or could hang out with friends like those friends she has, because she do have friends, but those are family friends that we know them from school. And when this happened, none of us It takes her from August till the last day that I find out if she was in trouble. We didn't know. She hid it from us all this time, or we did not know anything.
So, Ms. Paxton, what time of day did this assault on the elderly allegedly have occurred?
I believe it was during the day.
Okay. Now, I see in your report you said she snuck out multiple times.
Yes,
So
she has.
we received that information from the aunt.
Yes.
So, Mom, did you know that your daughter was sneaking out from the aunt's house?
I just find out like the last time she took off and got a job that we did not know about it. She finally told me what happened. Like I said, I go there and I call Destiny or I call her.
So, Mom, I'm not asking you to check in. You keep on saying I go over there. What I'm trying to figure out is if you're actually supervising your daughter or not, because you're asking me to release her to you. And so I have to know that you're going to provide supervision, but if you were just going to pass her off to aunt again, then I'm not going to do that.
No, but I'm here to take her home with me. She's not going back.
And so the question is, what kind of supervision will you give her? If you don't know what's happening at the aunt's house, I would think once she gets arrested for this felony assault to an elderly, that you would be more engaged to know exactly what's going on. So it concerns me that you didn't know this was going on.
Yeah, right now I'm here to take her home, and I'm willing to keep my eyes on her, and I'm gonna make sure she stays right next to me.
Okay, Ms. Paxton, you were saying?
The offense did occur at around 7:13 PM.
Like, how much would she go out and stay with friends? Do we know?
She was sneaking out quite often from Aunt's house to the point where Aunt was stressed out, worried about her.
Did the aunt tell the mom? Do we know? We just never got there.
She did share that information with Mom.
So, Ms. Paxton, you know this better than me, is this mom just kind of dumped Destiny with aunt, or is this like an informed parental decision?
I'm honestly as puzzled as you are about the circumstances. Because this wasn't originally my case, but I was under the impression that she was living with Mom this whole time.
Oh, did I release her to mom, or did I release her to aunt?
Aunt. She was originally released on aunt.
And she did fine on the aunt?
She did fine.
Destiny, I'm not confident yet. I may be at the next 10-day hearing, but right now, it seems like you've burned graces with your aunt, and I'm not sure what's going on with your mom, but it just seems like she has very little information about what your life is like and what you're doing, and I'm not sure I can trust her at this point to take possession of you, okay? So I'm going to detain you, and we'll see you in 10 days, and I'll decide at that point what to do. All right, thank you. Lita.
No, the family is here, I'm not sure they have an interpreter. Last time they did talk about their own interpreter, I'm not sure.
Right.
Hi.
Hello. I'm very familiar with the family,
Okay.
through older brother and Lita.
Yeah.
So this has been going on for a long time. In fact, Mr. Adler did you have Bay Ray in that group?
I sure did.
That was yours. Brian, did you have one of that group?
Which one?
The convenience store,
Yeah.
like the 7 kids that robbed all the convenience stores?
I think I might have.
Yours, I can't remember which one yours was. Yeah, we ran through our level 3 list, like all of them. But I know Lita's brother, what's your son's name?
Sorry, my
Your son's name?
Mohammed.
Mohammed. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, Mohammed Sperry, and we had Al-Bakari, and a couple more. All right, so Lita, you were placed on Monarch Academy. This is in Grayson County, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Unsuccessfully discharged. They're saying that you absconded from placement. They had to pursue you by vehicle, and you tried to steal a vehicle at a nearby airport before they could catch you. Police detained you and transported you to the juvenile detention center. And so you are pending an escape charge in Grayson County. Have we talked to them? They plan on adjudication dispo transfer?
They sent it to, referred it here.
Okay.
It's still pending. They didn't do anything with it in Grayson County.
Okay, so the escape charge, are the intentions for them to be handled by Tarrant County?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right, Leah, you know, this placement was a last-ditch effort to avoid TJJD. So we'll see. We'll get you a hearing and decide whether, you know, there's anything the community can help you or not. But this escape charge tells me that I shouldn't let you go, because if I do, I don't think you'll come back for court. Okay? Yes, Leah, do you have a question? If you have a question, you can ask me. If you want to tell me something, your attorney doesn't want you to tell me anything. Okay. Mom, did you have a question?
Yeah, I want to come back later my home because I don't like it too much. Is go to jail or something, you know.
I understand.
I think it's maybe she in change her mind is is good.
I understand. My problem is escape is a very serious offense. Okay. And when she runs away from the placement that the court orders her to, I don't think she'll come back to court, because if she'll run from there, she'll run from here. And as she gets older, she has more ability to run away. When this all started, she was 13.
Yeah, she's 14.
13. And she turned 14 here.
Yeah.
So she was still 13 when
Yeah,
this all
that's
started.
last year.
Yeah, she's 15 now. So, Lita, one day you'll get tired of me and tired of dealing with all this, but it's up to you. If you want to be free from me and not ever see me again, then you just gotta do what you gotta do to take care of your business. But if you want to push the rules and push the boundaries, then you and I will see each other all the way, you know, 18th birthday. Okay? We've got a lot of years left with each other. All right. So meanwhile, because of the escape charge, that's the big thing for me. If they unsuccessfully discharge you because you weren't participating or other factors, but you were still, I don't want to say you weren't engaging, but you were participating, you went to all your classes and did what you're supposed to do, just they didn't like the way you did it, then that's different. But when you actually run from a facility, you escape and try and steal a car at an airport, that tells me that I'm worried about you showing up for court or not. Okay? So that's why I'm detaining you. All right. Thank you, Lita.
Thank you.
Thank Thank you. It's okay.
All right. What else today?
Judge, can we approach?
Yes, sir.
So in talking to Mr. Shaheen and David today.
What happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just to clarify, are we understanding you that you're pulling that placement by oral order and he can just like stop working on it?
No, keep on working on it. It's still an option. Since we've already started the process. What I'm saying is the court is not ordering this way anymore, right? But I want to leave that as an option. It'll be pretty quick to make a decision on what we're going to do or not.
Okay, that's what I understood. I just want to make sure that that's what we need to do, so.
And whatever Judge Porter saw in him to give placement, because I wouldn't have been inclined, but obviously you convinced Judge Porter. So, you know, having turns a page here and shows me a side of why this would be good. I'm not against the idea of placement. I'm against the idea of sending a kid somewhere and wasting everyone's time. Right? At this point, the only time I'm willing to waste, as bad as this sounds, Mr. Sheffield, the only time I'm willing to waste is placements, or the placement search. Just so we can do the search now, but I don't want to actually sign them up, spend the money and send them over somewhere when he really needs TJJD. So That's my concern.
So, and I'm glad, well, not Brian, yeah, I'm glad that my brain trust is here with you. So, Judge, clearly, we've never had this happen. So, do I need to set the motion for new trial in front of you with Mary today as soon as possible? And let's say the motion for new trial is granted.
Set that with Judge Porter,
Okay.
right? Because he's the one more familiar with everything.
He is.
And so, and to be honest, Judge Porter, having been an appellate practitioner, is very obsessed with records and making sure records are complete. And he'll know the exact standard of which the appellate courts will accept it or reject it. Right? Like he'll know all the rules better than I will. And so I would rather you, I mean, I'll do it if I have to. I just don't think I'd be as good as Judge Porter on that issue, like on an appellate issue. So.
And I know Heaven hasn't been behaving, Judge, but this is where I start to feel bad. Because of the procedural things that have happened in this case, he's gonna be in the back for a long time. Before, let's say that the judge grants the new trial and we have a jury trial. I mean, it could be another whatever.
Yeah, on those, I tend to shuffle them. When a case gets on it that's older, I'll bump other things to get the trial quicker.
So like, will I bump everybody
There's some kids that have longer pending cases than Heaven, so.
that are in detention?
That are in detention.
Wow.
Heaven's not our longest resident,
Okay.
so you won't bump them. All I'm fighting is the 45 days notice. And if you would waive 45 days, Mark would waive 45 days, then we could actually do it quicker.
Well, you know, I will, but you know, something. Well, I'll keep that to myself, but yeah. Set the motion for new trial. Mary, as soon as possible.
You know, and I'll ask Mr. Etheridge, Heaven turns a corner and shows a side that placement's gonna work, I'm okay with placement. Like, I'll defer to what Judge Porter's saying. If he knows he's waiting for placement, and he knows that he got a second chance in probation, and he's still doing this, that tells me, like, he's not, all he's gonna do if he goes to placement is interrupt other kids' rehabilitation. Like, I don't do that to the other kids either. Like, it doesn't help them if we send Heaven to some facility and he's just picking up fights with that. And diverting resources from the staff to Heaven instead of to like the other kids. Like, I don't want to interfere with their rehabilitation.
Is there some milestone that the court is thinking of that?
Yeah, stop being a jackass.
For
That's
how
really,
long? Okay.
I mean, just indicate to me that he's not a jackass anymore and I'm okay with it. But if he's just gonna constantly push the envelope and do what he wants to do and say, I don't care what the adult court does. Like, if he thinks he's better than the court, then there's no point. Like, that's just what TJJD is for. Because TJJD is referral services, right? I mean, they can help with the behavioral problems and the psychiatric and psychological problems. And TJJD provides everything in a one-stop shop. And so for people like Heaven, you know, it may be a good thing. Like, he doesn't have to go one placement, get out, go to another placement, get out, and just keep on. If they identify problems at TJJD, they can start the programming for those problems.
Judge, I'm gonna suggest something out of the box once again.
Okay.
Can we get Heaven some pre-adjudication services while he's in detention?
I don't think we can.
Anything?
Are you aware of anything?
Is that even possible?
He's got serious mental
Psych
health
services, they do process groups, but there's no actual treatment that's provided as far as therapeutic. That I know of,
Right.
that's really Dr. Farnham, but.
So the answer is, if you go to Dr. Farnham, sit down with her, if she has suggestions, I'm open to that idea.
Are you open to sending him to Millwood, Trinity Springs, Mesa Springs, any of our mental health placement facilities, if they see fit, while we're waiting for the motion for new trial and jury trial?
I'll get clear for new trial.
How many doctors in front of you, what, about an hour or half hour?
I can't imagine it being more than an hour.
I mean, I should be able to squeeze that in,
You can squeeze
because
that
I
in
could
quickly.
probably get it in this week.
Because he needs mental health services.
Why don't we do this? Let's squeeze in the motion for new trial. And then based on that decision, if it turns out that you want a jury trial, since, you know, we're not gonna be able to fit it in within the next 2 weeks anyways. So if there's really no difference to you between 2 weeks and 6 weeks, if it means in the meantime, there's mental health treatment available, I'm open to that, yeah.
And then also keep in mind, we've got this bed that's, you know, we've got a clock ticking on the bed.
Well, the issue with the bed is he's accepted Woodward unless there's new information, behaviors, offenses that would change their mind. So that doesn't change. What we'll have to do is withdraw interstate contact. So he won't be the next person on the list because he hasn't been ordered replacement.
So is he the next person on the list then?
Currently. And that's the next bed is they're estimating is the end of June.
So he would sit here at the end of June for the bed to open up?
Yes, yeah, there's no possibility of, unless someone gets kicked out between now and then. They're expecting the next person to complete successfully at the end of June, and he would have that bed. If, as it stands now, this position is not withdrawn.
So 3 more weeks, can your client behave for 3 more weeks?
Maybe. You are looking now.
That's very optimistic.
I mean, he's behaved for 2 weeks at a time before when he thought he was gonna go home with his mom, so. You know, he's got the right PO, who really is very patient with him and mentors him very well. And I can keep talking to him and just see if I can get him to stay on level 1 for an extended period of time.
Then we have to return here, I guess, for a new trial after that, if I'm understanding correctly?
No, we wrapped that up before.
Okay.
Well, big brain stuff.
Just with the court's permission, Judge, I'm gonna see if I can get him some pre-adjudication services.
Yeah.
And just see if anybody will accept them while we're waiting, and then you can make a decision.
I don't know.
If that
I'm
happens.
having this, he's interfering with other kids. That's the problem that I have. I don't want him, you know, if he wants to promote his own life, that's his prerogative. I just don't want him to keep on interfering with other kids' rehabilitation. If that means removing it, that means removing it. Okay. How quickly can you put that in there?
No, she can do that.
Good for her.
Probably tomorrow or the next week.
So that's May 25th, so we still have a couple weeks. We'll just leave it as this. Once you do the motion for trial, circle back with me. I think we'll have the answer. So at this point, everything's as normal as it was yesterday.
So disposition is.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that, because I haven't made the documentary yet.
Okay.
So we're gonna leave that as it is, we'll have that hearing, then we'll readdress it after.
That's fair.
No,
We made his docket entry.
Like,
Gave it back to the district clerk.
like right now?
Earlier, when we were in here earlier, he went straight to the district clerk's office.
You made it without a hearing.
But I think he based that on, it was a motion to modify. So we don't need to
That
talk to
is
Judge,
true.
we need to talk to Judge Porter about it was
That's a
an
good point.
adjudication.
Are you here tomorrow morning?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's deal with it tomorrow.
Okay.
He's already gone for the day.
Awesome.
Okay. All right.
I'll come around. Thank you.
Around what time do you think?
Yeah, you know, I'm always here when it's my first setting at 8:15, 8 to 8:15, but we can do it after my.
Just,
I'll be here on morning.
I'd like to try and be here if I can, so. but, okay.
I'll wait for you. I'll be here on morning.
Okay.
You're always here early.
Usually, what's this thing?
Thanks, Judge.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome.
Interesting.
Brian, did you need something?
No, I just figured that Frank is eventually going to call me on this case. I might as well save the prelude and just be able to answer his question.
So
That is fun.
I now understand why you built a pizza oven.
Right?
Because I bought a Traeger,
Oh, okay.
and I'm cooking pizza on the Traeger, and having the wood fire makes all the difference.
It makes just that little bit of taste.
That is what's different. That's why pizza places have such good pizza.
Yeah.
Are you using a pizza stone with it?
Both, sometimes with a pizza stone, sometimes with a grill. The problem with the pizza stone is it takes so long to heat up a pizza stone. It's
Okay.
500.
Oh.
A lot of times I have to put it in the oven
And then.
just heat up and drop it on the grill, to the grill.
Yeah.
Um,
No, what I will say though is, you're right, the flavor makes a difference, but are you doing it now where you build the dough on the grate, then flipping it, and then building the pizza after that?
No.
Is there's this place in Rhode Island that does that, and so my wife and I will do that on the grill periodically and make some amazing pizza. You take the dough, throw it down, just open grill, no stones or anything to offset the heat, just direct heat under it. You flip it, you open the grill top, and then you build that pizza as quick as you can, and you close.
What do you charge?
What?
What do you charge? Sounds like a lot of work.
You actually built a pizza oven in his backyard.
Yeah. It's about 7, well, if you count the chimney cap, it's 7.5 feet, but it's 7 feet of masonry up in the air. And here's what I will say, it is so much more than a pizza oven. I did Thanksgiving in there, I did Christmas in there, I did our Easter ham in there, but you know, you have to heat it up and then you gotta kind of ride the wave. So you have to get it to full temperature, then ride it down for that ham. So I got up at like 7 in the morning on Easter, got the thing lit, got it up to 800 degrees on the inside, and then you know, I'm not gonna waste that wood, so I made Montreal style bagels. I'm throwing them in and making bagels in the morning. If I do pizza at lunch, I throw the door on, and then at like 9 o'clock at night, because I put a lot of insulation on the outside, I just take the whole chicken, put it in a cast iron skillet, and put it in there, put the door back on, and 45 minutes later, I have chicken for salad for the week.
You must have been hell on wheels during Armageddon, winter Armageddon, if you lost power.
Yeah.
The whole neighborhood was coming to your house.
That's what he built the thing. Well, but here's the crazy thing. So right when the storm hits on the 14th, I had left some wood that got delivered in my driveway. And I think to myself, well, no one's going to take it. You know, this is the first day we all still have power. I go out the next morning to get some firewood for the fire. I see a group of footprints.
Were not with your neighbor's chimneys going?
They only took about
follow
2
the footprints.
I decided to leave well enough alone, and I spent the rest of the day getting my dolly out, loading it up, and moving the wood back onto my my wood racks in the back and locking the gate. But you know, my plan was, if we lose power, I'm going to divide this up into 4. And because we have an elderly couple across the street who are the original purchasers of their home in 1964, we have another elderly couple to the right of them, and then there's another elderly couple, or there's an elderly woman there who's a 100 down the block, and I was going to run them each one quarter of that, and then keep the quarter for myself.
See, I have like 7, 8 quarters of firewood.
Oh, wow.
And I could have sold it. The problem was, you know, as an elected judge, I don't want to like put on Facebook groups, hey, firewood for sale. Right?
Yeah, here's my address.
So there's nothing I could do.
I'm broke.
It was just, yeah, it was like, I could have put a truck and go to the highway and sold it off the highway.
Yeah.
But man, I wasn't gonna like load up firewood in a truck and sit by a road like all day trying to sell firewood.
Yeah. Especially with that ice cap.
Yeah.
You know, somebody hits their brakes a little bit too hard.
So yeah, so I've still got, and Kim might got some.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything. They take your car and truck too?
I found myself on my hands and knees in front of my 100-year-old neighbor's house because her water pipe had burst in her house, and so it's going all the way to the shut off.
Yeah.
And you know, me and one of the other neighbors is trying to do it. I was like, I'm